Friends, gather round, for we must discuss the latest dumpster fire emanating from the White House. That's right, folks. Trump's at it again, this time slapping tariffs on like they're participation trophies at a Trump rally. As of April 5th, 2025, at the stroke of midnight, because nothing says stable economic policy like a witching hour deadline, a new era of trade barriers has dawned. These aren't your run-of-the-mill, let's gently nudge the market tariffs. Oh no, these are the economic equivalent of a toddler's tantrum, complete with foot-stomping, incoherent yelling, and a hefty side of global instability. Buckle up, buttercups, because things are about to get bumpy. Now, let's break down this tariff tango, shall we? First, we've got the 10% baseline tariff, a sort of cover charge applied to almost everything imported into the US of A. Think of it as Trump's way of saying, you want to play in my sandbox? You got to pay the toll. But that's just the warm-up act. The main event is the reciprocal tariffs, a term so loosely defined it makes quantum physics look like a game of tic-tac-toe. These bad boys are targeted at 57 countries, with rates ranging from ouch to holy mother of protectionism. China's getting hit with a whopping 54%, the EU's looking at 20%, and even our friends down under in Australia aren't immune, though their 10% rate seems downright quaint in comparison. Now, you might be wondering, what possible justification could there be for this economic kamikaze mission? Well, according to the stable genius himself, it's all about shrinking the trade deficit, which, last time I checked, was a symptom of a complex global economy, not a villain to be vanquished. Then there's the national security angle, because apparently relying on other countries for things like, medical supplies and computer chips is a recipe for disaster. Of course, there are exemptions, because what would a Trump policy be without a healthy dose of hypocrisy? Goods from Canada and Mexico, thanks to the USMCA, get a pass, as do critical products like pharmaceuticals and semiconductors. Section 4. Global shockwaves, market freefall and retaliatory strikes. So, what's the immediate fallout from this economic cluster bomb? Well, the stock market took a nosedive faster than a Trump approval rating after a coherent sentence. The Dow Jones plummeted 2.5%, and European markets weren't far behind, dropping 2.7%. And let's not forget about our trading partners, who are about as thrilled as a vegan at a sausage fest. China retaliated with 34% tariffs on US goods, and the EU, Canada and Australia are all sharpening their pitchforks, metaphorically speaking, of course. Probably. Section 5, Australia in the crosshairs, direct hits and collateral damage. Now let's talk about Australia. On the surface, the 10% tariff on their exports seems like a glancing blow. But hold your kangaroos, mates, because the indirect impact could be brutal. See, Australia's economy is heavily reliant on exporting commodities like iron ore and coal, primarily to China and Japan. And guess who just slapped tariffs on those countries? That's right, the guy with the spray tan and the fragile ego. So as China's economy potentially slows down, so does the demand for Aussie exports. Add to that the risk of cheaper Chinese goods flooding Australian markets, and you've got a recipe for economic indigestion.